Hello everyone, Jake here for FMSCOUT, and in today's video we'll be taking a look at the top 20 Wonderkids in FM23 5 years in the future to see how they've developed and how their career has got on. But this isn't going to go the way that you're expecting it to, I don't think, but I want you to let me know, is everything that happens in this video a coincidence? Is it the right thing that should happen? Or is there something wrong with FM23? Let me know in the comments and you'll see exactly what I mean in a few seconds. Now, we're going to start with the one who you'd expect to develop the most, the best Wonderkid of FM23. It is, of course, Hendrick. Now, the Brazilian is still only 20, so he has still got a lot of room left to grow, but he's moved to Tottenham from Palmeiras on a free. He played 5 total games for Palmeiras in his whole time there. Bear in mind, if you've seen him, you know he starts off as a very good player already. And then he leaves on a free deal in 2025. He then goes on to only play 6 times the next season and is now available to be loaned out. Now, his attributes aren't great, but they're not terrible either. I would have thought at least at Palmeiras he would have been playing and bagging a few goals, but it hasn't turned out that way, and you'll see a similar theme running through all of these players. Unai Emery is a fantastic talent with super high potential ability. Playing for PSG, it's always going to be hard for him to get first team football, but he's now a player in the Paris Saint-Germain second team, and his development has not taken place at all. The guy hasn't actually appeared for PSG's main side since the first season, really, where he played twice. Even in the second team, he's not been playing particularly well. His attributes haven't developed a crazy amount. He's 21 years old, he played a lot for the under-21s, but it looks like his career might have stalled and he's not going to reach the potential that we expect. Now, we're not managing any of these clubs. This is all AI management, and I'm wondering whether there's something going on with AI management in FM23, particularly when it comes to player development. I know before the update in FM23, there was a bug where technical attributes weren't developing as well as mentals and physicals, but that seems to have been ironed out here. It just seems development as a whole is being stifled quite a lot, but we'll see whether that takes place across the rest of the 18 players that we're going to look at. But first, if you could show your support and like the video, and whilst you're there, subscribe as well as we get close to 150,000 subscribers. That'll be amazing. And I also have my own channel linked in the description where we have a Leicester save going on, and we are so close now to 10,000 subscribers. So anyone who could come over there, show your support. A lot of people have came over, checked the content out and said they've really enjoyed it, so hopefully you'll be one of them. But anyway, on to player number 3, and let's see whether they've developed any better. And now we've got Wonderkid goalkeeper Gavin Bizunu of Southampton, and that's where he still is. He starts there in your game as their main goalkeeper, their starting goalkeeper, and he's actually developed quite well. Those goalkeeping attributes look great, physicals and mentals also very well rounded. You'd struggle to find a better goalkeeper than him, so he has been developing, but Southampton didn't really have a choice but to play him in the goalkeeping position. You can see he's played pretty much every match, but done very poorly actually, and then he's ended up being replaced by Southampton and is now only their cup goalkeeper, even though Bayern Munich want to buy him. A bit of a strange one, but at least his development isn't terrible, and whilst he isn't performing on the pitch, he has still developed into one of the best goalkeepers that you will find. It's just surprising that they don't start him. Rooney Baji is one of the best Wonderkids in FM23, particularly on that right hand side. But again, it's another one where the growth has kind of been stunted. He is a regular starter for Copenhagen, but I would have thought that would have been the case anyway a year or so into a save. His attributes have developed quite nicely. He's not crazy good, but he still has some nice attributes. The things that surprise me is 1, that he has no cap for the Swedish national team, and 2, that he has not been playing at all. Like, I would have thought he'd be starting straight away for Copenhagen, and he did. In his first season, he plays 13 games. He then plays 5 games in the next season with 4 goals and 1 assist and 1 player of the match award. Everything looks great, and then he doesn't play for another 2 years. He comes back, plays 17 times, not very well. I wondered if he had a long-term injury in those 2 years where he didn't play, but no, he just did not play any football at the age of 18. I mean, if they deemed him good enough at 16, 17 to play, I'm surprised they didn't give him a single game for 2 years after that. Again, another weird situation, developed okay, but not playing at the best. The thing with these players is, I'm not expecting all of them to have turned out into world superstars. That's just not what happens in real life football. But I would have expected a few more to have made the big moves to PSG, to have made the moves to Bayern Munich, and to be playing regular football. Now, Schelderup has ended up at PSG, and if you've played the game so far, you know that his starting attributes are good enough to play for most sides in the world. He now has 8 caps for Norway, so he's developing nicely. His attributes look very, very strong. But his career, again, has been a little bit of a weird one. He plays for 15 games for Nordsjælland before moving to PSG the following season, just to play twice. He does very well for their youth teams, plays twice in 2024 and does well, then doesn't play at all in 2025, and then plays in 2026 4 times, and again, does quite well. Now, I'm not expecting him to be a guaranteed regular starter for PSG, but to still have him down as a breakthrough prospect at the age of 23, again, it's a little bit of a weird one. His situation hasn't turned out the way you'd expect, and that's going to be a theme for all of these players. Portuguese centre-back Antonio Silva has got his move to a big club though. He has gone to Barcelona, a model citizen whose attributes have become very, very good. Physicals and mentals especially are very well rounded. He did play well for Benfica before moving to Barcelona for 38 million, where he's played a fair bit. At the age of 23, to be playing every now and then for Barcelona, it's not a terrible career trajectory. So we're going to say this one hasn't gone too bad. That's all right. Whilst we're in Barcelona, we may as well check in on Gavi. Now, he is another one where he should be starting straight away, so he should automatically be developing. The game seems to struggle with those 16, 17-year-olds who aren't first-team regulars yet, and it struggles to give them the opportunity by the looks of it so far. But Gavi has developed quite well, now wanted by Liverpool, 22 years of age. He's been playing about half of Barcelona's games across the course of this simulation, and whilst he isn't that well beater that we'd expect him to be just yet, he is still a regular starter for Barcelona, so again, his career has gone fine. The goalkeeper Ika Alvarez is a weird situation though. When you start your save, he looks like a phenomenal goalkeeper, and it will only be time until he is Villarreal's number 1, and then we'll probably go on to do even bigger things after that. Now, it could be the case that we've got these guys on the lower end of their potential range in this save, but the Andorran is now the emergency backup for Villarreal. His attributes haven't developed all that much at all. His handling and aerial reach is great, but I'm pretty sure they start off quite high. His one-on-ones and reflexes are really poor, and he's just kind of stunted into Villarreal's B team, where he's been pretty awful, to be honest, and hasn't developed at all, and now his career is pretty much over at this point, despite being one of the best Wonderkid goalkeepers that you can get in game. This is probably the most surprising one of the lot for me. It is Erkan Gul of Fenerbahce. Now, I've spoke about him in a few videos, and if you've seen him, you know he starts off with attributes good enough to play for pretty much any club in the world straight away at the age of 17. I've always said his physicals need work, but those technicals and mentals are phenomenal, and you would have expected these to have developed between the age of 17 and 22, but they have not at all. He looks a lot like the player that you can get right at the start of your save. It doesn't look like he's developed too much. At 22 years of age, he's got no appearances for the Turkish national team, despite playing 39 times for the under-21s. And like I mentioned, he's good enough at the start of your save to play for even the biggest clubs in the world. Yet for Fenerbahce, he played 0 times in the first season, 1 time in the following season, 6 times after that, then plays 0 times, and then follows it up with an 8 appearance season. Again, another situation where a player just doesn't play at all for no reason. We are about halfway through the list now, so let me know whether you think there's something going on in FM, or we've just got unlucky with these players. I'm not too sure myself, but the next player we'll look at is Matthias Taylor of Bayern Munich, who has been playing for them a bit in real life, and looks like a really good player actually. He's developed a hell of a lot. He's been playing well for Bayern Munich consistently, has got 2 appearances for the French national team, scored twice at the age of 22. He, for me, is a success, and it looks like he's now moving on to join a new club where he's going to be a regular starter in Borussia Dortmund. So this one is our first proper success, I would say. Another more obvious success is Jude Bellingham. I think you'd struggle to find a save where he isn't one of the best players in the world. He starts off as an amazing midfielder anyway, playing for Dortmund all the time. He got his move to a bigger club, as you would expect, moving to Manchester United in 2026 in the January window for £127 million, where he's continued to play exceptionally well. So another success there. Another one who's done great is one of the best Wonderkid left-backs in the game, Destiny Udogie, who plays for Udinese but has a move lined up to join Tottenham. His attributes have developed very nicely. Physicals are great, technicals look good as well, and his mentals are very well rounded. He's got a really high valuation. He's been playing regularly for Tottenham and playing well. Another one that's definitely in the success category. And then we have Yusuf Moco, who at the age of 22 still has a contract described as youngster, who will get first team opportunities in the future. He's not even a breakthrough prospect, his contract is still down as youngster, a model citizen striker with incredible physical attributes. His mentals are okay and his technicals are very good for a striker, I would say. Technique, first touch finishing and dribbling, and he can pass decently well. I would have expected if he didn't make it at Dortmund, he'd at least be starting for someone else, but he's just a youngster at the age of 22, only got 4 caps for the under-21 team, where he scored 6 times, by the way. But since the start of this save, he played 4 times for Dortmund, then played for the second team, didn't play the following season. The season after that, he played twice and scored 2 goals. He then appears 6 times in the following season and only 3 times after that. And bear in mind, these are appearances off the bench too. Well, there must be a great striker at Dortmund who's keeping Moco out the team, right? Not really. There's only one recognised striker at the whole club, and that is Yusuf Moco, who's apparently delighted with his situation and his playing time, which seems odd to me, but that's because he's agreed a youngster contract. And he's not playing at all. I think this is a really weird one. He signed that youngster contract in 2025, and I really just don't get this one. It's so strange, and another example of where a player just, it's not even that he's not developing, it just feels like something's off. One player who has succeeded to a massive level, and another one that you would expect because he's already a starter at a great club, the same way Bellingham was, it's Jamal Musalia, who at the age of 24 looks phenomenal, an elite attacking midfielder who plays regularly for PSG and plays very well whilst doing it. So one that's definitely a success, but another guy who's guaranteed regular starts at the start of your save. A goalkeeper who has developed fairly well though is Gabriel Slonina of Chelsea. The American international is a regular starter for them, a model citizen with great attributes all around. His goalkeeping attributes are really good as well, and I think he looks like a great goalkeeper. To be back up at Chelsea wouldn't be terrible, I guess, for a 23-year-old. He's still got time to become that number 1, and he is playing here or there. For our final 5 players, we're looking at another player who is a Chelsea player, and that is Cesare Casadei, who starts off at Chelsea as one of their better young prospects and is one of the better Wonderkid midfielders, central midfielders should I say, in the game. He got loaned out to Mexico where he stayed for 2 years and did not do too well, came back to Chelsea and appeared 4 times off the bench, then followed it up with 11 substitute appearances and 2 starts, not playing very well at all, then makes a move for £10 million to Bayern Munich. He started 10 times there this season, played well, scored a goal and assisted 1, so he's okay. Moises Siseido of Brighton is another great Wonderkid central midfielder that starts off as a regular starter for his club. He's now a star player at Brighton, very good physically, very good mentally, and his technicals in that tackling and passing and vision look phenomenal. He now wants his move away from the club, and he's been playing okay there for a few years. Not crazy good, but he's been playing fine. Considering how he's developed and the fact that he's a star player for Brighton, I'll class him as another success, but it's another one where he's a guaranteed starter right from the off, and I'm sensing a bit of a pattern here. Romeo Lavia of Southampton has developed really nicely as well. He's an important player at the club, very well rounded in all of his attributes, and another one that I would class as a solid success. He does start off as a regular starter at Southampton though, so plenty of time for him to develop and get better, so bear that in mind, but a consistent Belgian international and a player who will be around for years in that national setup. Giorgio Scalvini of Atalanta, another one that's developed really nicely, 6'5", Italian capped international. This is the kind of development path you might expect for an 18-year-old centre-back, plays every now and then for a couple of seasons, then gets his chance in the first team, does well, and gets given basically the starting role at the back for Atalanta from there. He's developed well, not as amazing as he might have done, but still this is good development and the kind of thing you'd expect from a Wonderkid defender. And we finish off with Tino Livramento, the best Wonderkid right back in the game in terms of potential. He starts off as a regular starter for Southampton. He's a star player for them. He's developed really nicely, and another one that I would class as a success. Comes back from an injury in that first year and then goes on to play most matches after that point. So another one that has done well. But with that, we have now checked out some of the best Wonderkids 5 years in the future. What do you guys think though? Is the development of them strange? Is it what you'd expect? What I noticed is if you're a regular starter straight away, the game will give you that role and you'll develop and you'll become a good player. But if you're a 16, 17-year-old, it seems really hard for the game to give you that chance. I mean, Hendrick, Moco especially was one of the weird ones, Arda Güler, these are guys that have great potential, but start off as phenomenal players anyway, and good enough for most clubs in the world. So But weird in that sense. Let me know what you think. Do you think there's something wrong with the game, or do you think this is perfectly normal? I want to hear your opinions, but hopefully you have enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out my channel, linked in the description. But most of all, have a great day everyone, and I'll see you next time. Thank you, and goodbye.